published by a group from South Carolina called Shadow Archer Press, and this was published in 2009. Chapbooks are like, it's like the cheap man's publication. They've been around since like the 1800s. This is the way that the independents would get around before, you know, they would get discovered and shit, stuff like that. So, anyways, everyone did it. Benjamin Franklin did it. Edgar Allan Poe did it. Everyone that you read in college today did it. Anyway, so I'm going to start with this. The poem I'm going to share with you is entitled The Winter King, and it's a poem in 5 parts. You might recognize some of the Poe-inspiredness of it, but it's also inspired by like the epic style of poetry. So one person reviewed it as being kind of its own language. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So, anyway, the story of the Winter King, it's an epic poem, and it's about this guy, and basically he's lost his love, and so it's very metaphysical. He's a frozen man of ice, and it's about his journey within himself, and of course he goes through those 3 dimensions. I mean, sorry, the three layers. And I wrote this like probably about 10 years now ago. So I'm looking to do a republish of it, a reprint. So with this fine. Okay, so I'm going to start at the beginning, I guess. This is The Winter King, and this is the prologue, a poem. It goes this way. I stared blankly through an open window, whispering words only my mind heard. The warm winter, like a phantom, called for the season's cool, chilled breath, but sunlight came instead. Sunshine's essence moved mirthfully over the land and through the stalks of barren branches, and the gilt green grass gathered in reverie of the ghosts of spring. To the grass and branches, I could only wish serendipitous pity to sprinkle sympathy on them. Soon, the cold would return and rid these peasants of the warmth of noon. Even the humbled bugs garnered shells for themselves and took lodgings to prepare for the thunder to come. The mites lodged in my mind. They felt home they could find in the remote matter winter had not marked in the recess of my thought. But from these insects I departed and pushed each separate parasite onto the windowsill. Ill intent, said I, speaking of these bugs bathing in the sunlight. With ill intent, said I, speaking the thoughts residing in my mind. My teeth tapped nervously when I turned from the window and walked to the wall where my hopes were painted in a whitewashed hall of alabaster screens and curtains. The wall, wet with tears, slept, held banners and blankets. I breathed a silent yet deft command. White walls, open your gauze and drapery. Thy shelter shall support me. Each silk strand, strung by pearls and strips of lace, raised slowly at a sloth-stricken pace, till the veils vanished and vacancy I found, a room smelling of incense and candles. 2 solitary flames hovered in the void. Incense smoke swirled and danced like thin cotton snakes amorphously slithering around the luminous fire. In the darkness, I felt his presence, like the hum of life which pulses in electricity or igniting sparks that climb mountain clouds. His feet never touched the ground. He floated, an old friend, the last of a dying kind, whose presence did not bother me, but whose soul had now gone blind. Placed within fresh wires and cords, his old soul glinted like an aged spinster's new weather-tempered webs. In his eyes a place loomed where black space took residence, an old aperture, the hollow rest where stars once nest with a twinkle. They now blipped in repetition, The wires ate his mind long ago. He spoke like static steams from a voice vibrating tenebrously, the machine within. Tell me, Mortmain, the themes that haunt your recent memory, are they sad? Are they bad? Are they that stripped you of longevity? To his questions I had answers, but a response I hesitated to give, for my words choked in my throat like guilt tripping on tears. I had not cared to share my peril, my dauntless Highland peace, but my heart played a discordant tune, and when I looked into his eyes, I saw the land as the sun sets, I saw the stars for empty space, and I longed to fill that gaping hole with a tale of hope my heart had sold to the sanctuaries of silence. This voyage is blue, incarnate blue. Every figure, every face, soft and blue. Every smile, every space, cold and blue. Pale as light reflects from glaciers floating beneath an azure silver moon. Everlasting, incarnate blue. All right, thank you. That is there. That is The Winter King, coming to a bookstore near you. That was fun.